Gamers of the world, welcome! I'm Sakrona, and today we're going to be doing something a little different. I've done something like this before, but it's a bit different than it has been in the past, for a different reason why I'm doing this. But to answer your folks' question, yes! I was part of a podcast. No one was asking this except for me in the title, down below. I'm not even pointing the right spot. Right down there. That's where I asked. But, yes, I was part of a podcast. My brothers, if you guys remember from the last time I did a stream like this, my brothers, both of my older brothers, have started their own podcast this year. Where they talk about mostly Warhammer 40k, but they dabble in some other topics as well. And they decided during their D&D discussion, because they decided to take a break from Warhammer 40k to talk about D&D, to include me, because I actually have played Dungeons & Dragons before. So, yeah. There's two podcasts that they decided to include me in on. But before I get started, as always, I know there's not a lot of people here at the beginning of my streams, but how are you doing? I see Keen's here at least, or he might still be here. If he is, welcome, how are you? If anyone else is in chat or watching the stream, how are you doing? Are you excited for the 4th of July? That is a good question. You can't find them on Spotify. I also left a link to the YouTube. And also to my oldest brother's website. Let's see if he has the Spotify link there. That'd be great if he did. He does not have the Spotify link. Okay, I will go to Spotify then. If you guys want to listen to them on Spotify, there's the link. I got you. Alright, that being said, we're going to be looking at the YouTube videos that they posted the podcast that my oldest brother posted. So yeah. Like I was saying before I lost my train of thought, do you folks have anything you got planned for the 4th of July? Me? Recording a video, and that's about it. Maybe watching the fireworks if they decide to have a fireworks show on the sea, on Lake Washington. But other than that, the thing I'm most looking forward to is the day after, which I hope you guys are excited for too. I'm leveling up my age by 1. It's a level up that only happens once a year, but it's happening. And yes, that's nerd terminology for my birthday. This Wednesday. And I figured, since you guys had fun celebrating with me last time, I figured we'd do a longer celebration on July 5th. I'm going to be hosting Open Lobby. It's going to be definitely Mario Kart and Smash Brothers. I might include a round of Mario Party Superstars, so we could do the Peach's Cake, in celebration of the birthday. And of course, visiting with you folks. It's going to be probably about a 5-hour stream, so hey, I hope y'all see y'all there. And yes, he's not old. I'm not old yet. I don't get to call myself old until I'm 30. I'm only going to be 29. I'll have one more year of being in my prime before I get to start going, I'm an old man. He is angsty. I'm angsty. Boomer man. I'm not a boomer either. How dare you? How dare you, cat? What's how you doing, cat? I assume you just woke up. Just wait, in a year, I'm gonna do something stupid. The cat's gonna be like, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? I did just wake up. Yes. See, I know these things. But yeah, I hope you're all having a good time, and I hope you all are excited to celebrate my birthday with me. But for now, that is thinking 2 days ahead. We are in the present. And like I said, today we are going to be looking at the podcast I was a part of. So, I'll give it a couple more minutes. Just a couple more minutes. We'll start at 3:40. That way, if anyone wants to come in, they can. I'm guessing currently used to play on his Atari. Bold of you to assume that I have Atari. For the first time, my doggo cuddled with me as we sleep. Aww, that's adorable. I wish that was me. What? What? Nothing. Don't worry about it. I heard nothing. Good. Good. Which one? Me or the doggo? Yes. What you drinking? Water. H2O. Gotta stay hydrated, gamer. How you doing, Lucky 13? Just wait another minute and then we'll get started. Besides, I'm enjoying this music. Also, my eyes are already starting to hurt. This is how... I don't know why. It's like when I get into streamer mode, that's when my eyes start hurting. I can look at the screen without wearing these glasses, and my eyes will be fine. But it's like as soon as I start streaming, my eyes are just like, nope, time to hurt. Yummy H2O. Is that so cool? It is, in fact, Stone Cold Steve Austin. All right. Well, that being said, let me just go ahead and turn this music off. I'll go ahead and get the appropriate screen up. Maybe you need prescription glasses, but that's the weird thing. My eyes are 100% fine until I start streaming. That's when all of a sudden it's just like, my eyes. Why do they burn? They're not supposed to burn. Podcast time. Yes, so I was part of the D&D. Again, I'll just go over this briefly since not a lot of people were here. I was briefly a part of 2 podcasts, both related to D&D, because it's one of the few things that I have in common with both my brothers. So they decided to include me, have me be a part of it, as you know, my caricature of Sakrona. And yeah. Let's get started, shall we? I haven't actually watched these. I mean, I was a part of them, but I haven't actually seen the final product. And this was done like 2 weeks ago, so 3 weeks ago, apparently. 4 weeks ago. A month ago. I can't keep track of time. All right, anyways, let's go.
Hello, and welcome to Warhammer 40k's Grim History from the Beyond.
Even though it's not Warhammer 40k.
And I'm Yuxin.
We're the chroniclers of all that was, and all that will be in the 41st millennium. We've seen the rise and fall of many empires. Yet this month, we are taking leave of the grim world of Warhammer and taking a vacation.
Right you are, Zekthar. This month we have traveled to the strange world of Terran 42, or what the locals call it, Earth. We landed near the city known as Seattle to take in the sights and food of the city. Yet while we are here, we will continue our walks.
Indeed, Yuxin. We will be taking a break from our normal historical chronicling. We figured we would let you, fine people of the galaxy, take a break as well, and discuss one of our favorite games, Dungeons and Dragons.
Quite right, brother.
Wrong thing.
It is good to take a break.
Seattle does not look this clean. just letting you all know. Usually, I don't know how recent this picture is, but Seattle doesn't generally look this clean.
Let you, fine people of the galaxy,
Frank Sinatra?
Take a break as well, and discuss one of our favorite games, Dungeons and Dragons.
Quite right, brother. It is good to take a break away from the drudgery of life and simply play a fun game. Well, what are we going to discuss today?
Well, today we have a guest who will discuss with us his favorite characters to play in D&D. And his name is Sakrona.
Yep, there it is. That's the photo we used. They did give me a chance to switch the photo. He's like, yeah, you can send me a photo. I was like, no, I like the funny photo. What are you talking about? This encapsulates my entire being. Just pure insanity. Thank you. Thank you. Please, you're too kind.
Thanks for being here, Sakrona.
It's my pleasure, Yuxin. I'm glad you two stopped by. I've been listening to your voxes and have enjoyed them immensely. And when I got the call from Zekthar that you two would be coming to Earth, I had to ask you to stop by. I never dreamed that I'd be a part of this vox.
You are too kind, Sakrona. But tell me, how on earth did you actually get our voxes? You are in a completely different realm.
I never noticed the voice cracks. The how did you get a hold of our voxes? I never dreamed that I'd be a part of this vox.
You are too kind, Sakrona. But tell me, how on earth did you actually get our voxes? You are in a completely different realm.
You're I know. But tell me, what will we be talking about today?
Well, we all like playing that wonderful Earth game known as D&D.
Yeah.
We would like to discuss with you your favorite characters you have played in D&D.
Yes, that is true. But unfortunately, Yuxin, I've been doing some digging. And, well, we have a few corrections this week.
I know, brother. I myself did some digging, and I'm afraid we have to walk back a few things.
Wait, really? You guys make mistakes? I thought y'all were supreme beings and didn't get things wrong.
Yes, well, we normally don't. But we have been around for a very long time.
70 million years.
Yes, and like I said, a long time. Do pardon us if we forget something every millennia or so.
Well, what did you guys get wrong?
The first thing was more of a slip of the tongue. We said
All right.
Vogel Dorn's Legion was called the Iron Fist. That is incorrect.
Indeed, brother. What we meant to say was the Imperial Fists. The Iron Fists are actually a second founding chapter of the Iron Hands. It was, dare I say, simply misspoken.
Yeah, they're talking as their characters.
Right, Sekthar. Yet the second correction was a complete faux pas by myself.
And yes, Iron Fist is Iron Fist before Pokemon was a
also
thing.
known as the Sisters of
before
Battle, are not
the
part
Pokemon
of the
Iron Fist.
Inquisition. They are actually part of the Ecclesiarchy, although they do work hand in hand with the Ordo Hereticus.
Don't feel too bad, Yuxin. They do work with the Ordo Hereticus.
Role playing, as the kids say.
Yep. They're about as crazy as that sad lot. It could be far worse.
Like what?
Well, I've been rereading some of the chroniclings that we've done.
Yeah, we're just gonna skip
White Scars.
We're just gonna skip ahead real quick because most of this is recap, anyways, of something that I haven't watched, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people here haven't watched either. Just giving you folks a heads up, or for anyone who's arachnophobic, there's a picture of a spider that's coming up. So I am arachnophobic, but I've seen the picture long enough that it's okay.
D&D. Attack all on. My apologies, Sakrona. You don't get
to why I'm here? Interesting. But perhaps we could carry on as to why I'm here?
Oh, my apologies, Sakrona. We don't get out much and tend to drawl on with each other because, well, there really isn't anybody else to talk to. Perhaps you could start at the top and tell us your favorite characters that you have played in that interesting game,
Spider.
D&D.
Well, I'm glad you asked. As a person who's played many forms of D&D, I've created quite a few favorite characters, such as Mitzi, the Spider Rogue. Okay, first and foremost, before we continue on, I'd just like to, just to fix something here. At the time that we were recording this, could not remember the race of what the actual race of the being that I was playing. I got the name right. My character's name was Mitzi, but the race that I was playing is a race called Anati, which are literally intelligent spider folk that learn to shapeshift into humans. But at the time, I could not remember what the race was called. So all I could remember was, okay, the character's name was Mitzi. Could be a spider, or a human, or spider-human hybrid. And I was a rogue, so I said Spider Rogue. I didn't know this was the picture that was going to pop up. I was like, oh, God dang it. This brings up something completely different. But yeah, no, I played in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. That is where the race Anati comes from. And again, just really intelligent spider people. Really intelligent spiders that shapeshift into humans. Later on, human spider hybrids. For everyone who doesn't know, there's many different games out there. Essentially, Spider-Man with rapier out there. They're essentially just D&D clones. One of them is called Pathfinder 2, and you can play a class that is a human spider hybrid. And what better way to take advantage of being able to crawl on walls than to be a rogue, where you can easily get behind people and deal wonderful things called sneak attack damage.
Real quick there, Sacrona. Isn't Pathfinder the one that came out with before 5e?
I believe Pathfinder First Edition, I believe, came out. Essentially, Pathfinder First Edition is based off of D&D 3.5. Is that 3.5 or 3.75? And then they decided to change it drastically for second edition of Pathfinder, and that's the version that I've been playing more of.
But it's still a form of D&D.
It is. A lot of the same mechanics are still there. You know, you still got the same chart alignment, the same alignment. I mean, the same alignment chart, but also the same skill stats. You've got a lot of the same abilities. It's pretty much, if you play D&D, this isn't much different, and you can easily get into this, but there are some subtle differences, like instead of having, you know, oh, you've got one main action and you got a movement action, a bonus action. Essentially, it goes, okay, well, you've got 3 actions that you can do whatever you want. You can move. You can attack multiple times. You can cast certain spells, like a level 1 spell and then maybe a level a 2 action spell. It's got slightly different mechanics, but again, it's easy to get into if you've played D&D. Okay, let me explain this a little better. I was put on this. I mean, I don't know why I struggled so much to do it, but essentially, again, it's a different. The way the main mechanics usually in D&D, you have a move action, a main action, and a bonus action. In Pathfinder Second Edition, you have just 3 actions where you could do pretty much whatever you want. And what I was talking about with the spells was, spells can have different number of different number of actions it costs in order to use said spell. So like some spells only cost 1 action, so you could just use it in 1 action. But some spells require like 2 actions or maybe all 3 actions in order to do. So, you know, you use a very super powerful spell that takes all 3 of your actions. You can't do anything else. You can't move, you can't attack, nothing. So it throws and makes the different things you could do. There's really no bonus actions unless your DM decides to award you with a bonus action. But other than that, it's generally just 3 actions of whatever the heck you want. I wish I explained that a little better instead of the stuttering mess that I was when I was doing this podcast, but there you go. Just like if you played Pathfinder first and then played D&D, it would still be the same thing. Easy translation.
Yeah, from what I've heard, one of the reasons why they moved on to 5th edition was because they actually smoothed out the mechanics from Pathfinder.
I think so, and then eventually I think that's what led to Pathfinder eventually growing too, is because, again, as good as the mechanics were, they were outdated and need to be changed in order to keep up with the new way that things were being played. And that's why, again, you've got essentially, instead of playing, you know, oh, we want to go back to the old version of D&D, so we'll play Pathfinder. Now it's like, well, just play 5th edition or Pathfinder 2nd edition. Both those are really solid games.
So what made Mitzi one of your favorite characters to play? What kind of character was she?
Well, again, she was a rogue. She mostly she mostly stole things, which was always hilarious. Also creeping people out because not only could she be a human spider hybrid, but she could also just be a full spider if she wanted to. So that's how actually she ended up sleeping most of the time, which was always hilarious when people would see giant spiders in the middle of the night, try to call them out to security, and then it's just a person in like an alleyway. But also just the mechanics of being a rogue, especially when I initially made the character, there was another rogue, which essentially allowed us to double team people on each other's turns. And again, always being able to get sneak attack damage when someone is prone or just, you know, like facing the wrong direction is always a fun time. Essentially, it's a free crit.
That's called, I think, backstab, right?
There is. Okay, so I hyped up being like the spider rogue. I hardly ever use the spider traits. Like, if I could go back and I mean, I love the fact that I played the character the way that I did. I just wish I had done more with the abilities. Because again, at 5th level, you get to have a spider. You could become a spider human hybrid, which means you get to use all of your spider abilities as well as human, but still being in the human form. So imagine being able to climb on walls, but you're still able to hold all your weapons and equipment. I never took advantage of that, and I hated it. I think I got to do the whole, dropping down from the ceiling once, doing, oh, hello there, and stabbing someone in the back. I think once, maybe. But for the most part, not really. I hardly ever used the spider trait, except for role-playing aspect, which was always fun. It is essentially backstab, yes. But doesn't just need to be like stabbing someone in the back. It could be if someone's in combat and you attack them from a different any sort of different
right
angle.
I was just saying I think the move is actually called backstab. It doesn't mean that you necessarily have to be behind them. I just think that's actually what the move is called.
Yeah, no, just being for also she was just kind of a prick to everyone, which I enjoy. Which again, I don't usually act like a complete jerk in real life, but being able to play a jerk in a game is always fun. It's kind of like I'm nice in real life, so this is my way of just kind of letting loose.
Okay.
Letting all my frustrations out.
We've got Mitzi the prick. Have you had any other interesting characters that you've played?
I played another character whose name is Flint. That's actually a character I'm currently playing right now, who actually is from a completely different. It's again another D&D clone, but it's got way different mechanics where it's not actually a D20 based game. It's actually you have to actually essentially buy your skill slots as you move up, which allows you to use higher dice. And the way I built this guy is essentially just a straight up barbarian, where if you hit him, he gets enraged and deals essentially double damage. He does more damage. This is a post-apocalyptic world, and he's got a shotgun. The shotgun does about half damage compared to my guy when he gets hit.
Whoa, hang on. A shotgun? So what's so I'm assuming this is just a different role-playing game, correct?
Yeah, it is, yes.
What's it called?
Savage Worlds.
Savage World. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I actually found the picture of it. Perfect.
Heard of. But most, if I recall right, most role-playing games kind of have, like you said, anyways, they pretty much have very similar mechanics.
They do borrow mechanics, yes.
So if you have played D&D, you can kind of play a lot of these other role-playing games and kind of pick it up rather quickly.
Savage Worlds would take a little bit more. It took me a little more to get used to because the mechanics are different enough where it does feel like a completely different game, but the damaging system is way different. I should have specified that, and I wish I had. Maybe I do. Again, if you played a role-playing game before, you'll pick it up fairly quickly.
Yeah, I believe there's actually one from I don't know if you knew this, Sacrona, but there are some actual role-playing games that you guys play that are actually,
you'll pick it up fairly quickly. All right. So yeah, like I said, the main thing that was troublesome to get used to was the damaging, because it's not like, you deal a certain number of HP. It's literally just, it has a wound system. So in other words, you stun someone and then you wound them. And if they accrue like 2 or 3 wounds, like the number of damage you do will determine if you actually inflict a wound. So in other words, if let's say that it takes like 10 damage to deal a wound. If I deal 9, then I don't deal a wound. And then the next time I hit him, I still have to deal 10 damage, otherwise I don't deal a wound. It was a very weird damaging system. After a while, it kind of fell into place, but the whole getting stunned thing, that was something that was a bit different to get used to.
Yeah, I believe there's actually one from
Shaken.
I don't know if you knew this, Sacrona, but there
Shaken.
are some actual role-playing games that you guys play that are actually based on our universe. One in particular is called Rogue Trader.
Another's called Dark Heresy. There's also one that's actually you get to play as one of the superhuman Marines called Death Watch.
Oh.
The guy that is coming on in a couple of weeks that's going to be guest starring with us, Euxin, he played that one. He played as a space wolf librarian, which we now know is called a rune priest.
Yeah.
Well
done, you remember.
Yes. I mean, that was only 2 weeks ago.
I know, but
Sorry, we're getting far afield here, Sakrona. So Flint, anyways, is this barbarian dude. What's his character personalities that makes him different from Mitzi?
Well, first off, unlike Mitzi, who just likes stealing things, Flint is just there's no difference. Like I tried to explain a difference. Big burly man versus small slender spider person. That's really the only difference. He may be more toxic. That's about it. He's more aggressive. I guess I should have put down. Straight up what kind of language can I use here? I have curiosity. Don't want to impose on your Vox.
Oh, we keep it pretty clean. There's
Okay. I didn't know he was going to keep that in. I was asking that outside of, like, I thought he was going to cut that out. I didn't think he was going to leave that in there. Well, I guess it makes no difference, but he's 100% a jerk. He's a thief, but in the sense of,
So what was you saying? We go from prick to jerk. Is the next character that you're gonna come out with gonna be just a
douchebag?
Probably.
We'll keep it clean.
Just follow the train of thought. Yes, probably. But no, again, I guess when you it's the same story essentially, thief, but in a post-apocalyptic world. This is supposed to be in the year 2098, so think essentially, for anyone who's seen it, Mad Max: The Road Warrior.
Gotcha.
But essentially, picture a very angry Texan.
Of course, you're in the analytical one. Which one?
I did say Road Warrior.
They're Yuxin. They all kind of follow the same pattern. Of course, the best obviously was Thunderdome, but
yeah. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
1 man leaves. So, did you have any other?
Fun fact: I think I said this during another stream. I've never watched Road Warrior. I mean, not Road Warrior. Thunderdome. That's one I still need to watch.
Favorite characters that you played?
I had one other one which I played for actually quite a long time, a couple years actually, and this one was a 5e character. His name was James Hetfield. He was a bard halfling.
If I recall right, that was your second character of that. Okay, so for those who don't know, anyways, I actually DM'd this one, and Yuxin also played with us, and this was last time we were on vacation.
Yeah. Well, the second to last time.
Yes, the second to last time, which I'm sure we'll get to talking about that in a bit. But right now, I'm going to focus on what you were mentioning. Yes, James Hetfield was essentially the second character I made for this campaign. That's because the first character, Ifrit Hetfield, died within the first combat against a bunch of bandits.
Yeah, that might have been my bad.
I think it took like 2 hits.
Yeah.
Or maybe 1.
Yeah, level 1 bards shouldn't necessarily run into combat or be thrown into a situation where they're in combat.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand, anyways, the combat analytics at the time. So I threw you into a challenge level, probably level 5. You guys were both level 1s. Actually,
I mean, the monk was fine. It was the halfling that didn't stand a chance.
And if I recall right, this guy wasn't a douchebag like your other characters.
No, he was actually a fairly nice character. He wasn't like the most lawful good character, but he was fairly nice. Did things to help people out. Ended up being the leader of the ragtag group of what would eventually become ragtag group of 3.
Right. Well, actually, there was more than 3, wasn't there? You also had some NPCs.
There was a 4th one. That's right. There is 4 characters that ended up playing.
You had, I think, at one point you had a couple people that joined up that were also NPCs, but they only were there for, I think, what, a month or 2?
I think so. I don't actually recall that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think William Wallace and
the Spartan guy.
Spartan.
I keep forgetting that these characters.
Yeah, no, that's right. We did have that Spartan.
I keep forgetting these characters. Then he didn't have a fault, but he died. All right. He was one of the guys that you guys are supposed to control, and he died.
Yep.
Rather quickly.
Yep.
As opposed to the other guy that I think you continually controlled, right?
Yes, there was a character I controlled that was actually based off of a race
I
that you
spoiled
made
it.
up
No.
in this world, which is a Nushaka, aka shark
Oh no,
people.
never mind. He didn't spoil it.
Yep. I actually picked this realm anyways from a different realm that Yuxin you would know, but Sakrona probably not, known as Asheraka. That's one of the races that lives there, along with the Falk, which is part of the Mahi, which is a race of
Lizard people.
Lizard people.
Yeah, or dinosaur people.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry. Carry on there, Sakrona.
The NPC that I controlled was for people who know a lot about recent internet history, named as Leroy Jenkins, and he was the only multi-class character I ever got to control. He was actually classed. He was main class was barbarian, but he was also a fighter and a ranger.
Yeah,
And he's essentially he kind of acted as the muscle, which picked up the slack for my bard.
Now, if I recall right, though, your bard was pretty cool.
Bard did have some pretty nice abilities that every once in a while I got to show off, which was pretty cool. He got a magical guitar and a magical box, aka an amplifier, that went with it, and was able to cast many awesome spells. Unfortunately, the problem is later on when more people started getting added, and
Leroy Jenkins. I think my brother picked the name for the character. It was a made up character, and we were trying to think of a name. It was like, how about Leroy? Leroy Jenkins? Sure, let's go with that.
Amplifier that went with it, and was able to cast many awesome spells. The unfortunate problem is later on when more people started getting added and the difficulty got harder, he ended up doing more healing than anything else. But there was a sweet point where, like, in the middle of the beginning and the end, that middle section where he actually got to do some really cool stuff, and it was awesome using his spells. I was fairly new still to playing role-playing games at the time, so I didn't get to utilize his skills as much as I'd like to. A lot of spells, a lot of racial traits that I didn't utilize that I probably should have, and I feel like if I'd gone back and played him now, I'd probably be able to utilize him a lot better, but I still had fun with him. He's still still have fond memories of that character.
You're talking about a lot of cool spells. What was your favorite spell of his?
Probably one called Release the Kraken.
I figured that would be it.
Where before people ask, yes, you can release a Kraken, and I've only managed to use the spell like 5 times. I summoned dragon turtle twice, a water elemental once, and somehow, based off the ruling that I got to use, this is a made up spell, by the way. This is homebrewed spell. That I rolled a critical twice. So I summoned 2 times a Kraken.
I still don't know how you did that.
I don't know either. Like,
You summon Cthulhu.
The math doesn't
Can you
add
summon
up.
Cthulhu? No, you can't summon Cthulhu. You could just summon a Kraken. But to just spontaneously summon a Kraken is hilarious. Also, for anyone who doesn't get the reference, the song, it's my character plays a song, it's called Release the Kraken. And yes, for anyone who's wondering, it is based off the Ninja Sex Party song, Release the Kraken!
It was hilarious seeing a Kraken come out and foil everything. It was awesome. I loved it.
So, a lot of what we've been talking about is, I mean, they're obviously your favorite characters and the characters that you enjoyed playing. But a good question to ask, anyways, is what makes a good character? I mean, for you, anyways, it seems like you tend to like to run a character, anyways, that's more of a fantasy. Your fantasy apparently is being a jerk.
It's a change of pace. That's all. It's like, you know,
Gotta make up for being a nice guy in real life,
don't
okay?
get me wrong. I usually enjoy being really nice to people, and it's one of the nice things. I like putting a smile on people's faces in real life. But you know, sometimes you just want to change a pace. And if you're playing a fantasy game,
people
why
seem to
not
like
just go
playing,
all out and
like
play
it when you play a
something that
jerk,
you're
as
not
long as you
used
don't
to
take it
being?
too far.
So, you know, it's kind of a good counterpoint to, like, you know, again, if I'm really nice to people and really care for people in real life, why not just do something completely different and throw a wrench into the mix of things and do something that I'm not used to doing?
Sounds to me like you'd actually really enjoy playing a evil campaign.
Probably, actually. I thought that character Flint, he's
It's not really an evil campaign, but it's not a campaign in the sense where we're the good guys. We're definitely just bad guys. We're just not the worst bad guys out there.
Now, on the other hand, anyways, Yuxin, I know you like to keep it a little bit more closer, anyways, and personal. So your character is significantly more analytical. It likes thumping people, and knowing all like the intricacies and rules of your character, right?
Yeah. When I first started, I still didn't have a grasp of everything. But one of the things that I like to do when it comes to playing games like role playing games is I like to study different factors, figure out, okay, in comparison to, for example, Sacrona, who likes doing the aspect of the role playing. I'm more of a structured person, focusing more on the tactical stuff. So that's why generally
Right.
my character would be more personal, more internal, and just basically throw out what I think, but not like go into great detail or so it'd be sort of like, well, I believe this would probably be the better choice, but it's up to you guys. I mean,
Right.
the person who kind of pokes you with the stick is like, maybe. Just saying.
Okay, my brother, for anyone, my brother, he is a very smart man. Let's just say that. And he puts the way he figured out how to build his characters is genius. And I wish I was as good at building characters as he was, because both the characters that I played when I was playing with him were busted. Were pretty busted. I mean, he rolled really well too for his stats, but his characters were pretty broken in the sense of their abilities too, and he knew how to make his characters well. Even at level 1, they were pretty scary. OP, not quite OP, but they were just really, really strong.
But I'm gonna be quiet over here in the corner
Okay.
until we get into a fight, and then
Just really good,
I want
really
to
good.
thunk people.
Just out of curiosity for both of you guys, what are your guys' favorite class?
Rogue was a pretty fun one, but I like overly stupid strategies, so probably barbarian.
That is actually my personal favorite. Simple, straight to the point.
Although Paladin is also pretty fun, especially in 5e, where essentially you don't get. We don't call them spell slots for Paladins. We call them smite slots for a reason. Because you almost never. Traditionally, you rarely use them during combat for spells. You use them because you want to thump things really, really hard. With
Smite is
holy
such a good
powers
ability
embedded into
for a
your
paladin.
weapon.
Aren't also paladins like ultimately designed to be like the ultimate tank? They just kind of suck up
Slots,
damage.
or yeah, you have slots.
They're supposed
Number
to
of
be, yeah. So
slots that you
essentially,
have for
I
each level.
tank hits, and then I can use my magic to thunk you really hard by the power of my deity.
Right. Oh, what about you, Yuxin? What's your favorite?
Well, I also like prefer more of the simpler people, and I do like barbarians, but I still think I favor monks just because, not just because they're so
They're
much simpler. I
stupid.
just like the aspect of
Stupid
being
good,
able
I
to
should
beat
say.
the snot
Stupid
out of
good.
somebody with their bare hands,
Did
along
you,
with being able to, like,
no,
one of the branches actually be able to cast a fireball with actually not using up stuff.
Key.
Yeah, just key. These are key to beat everything.
well, not only that, but I mean, monks when they get up to higher levels are just ridiculous. I mean, you can move like all the way across the map. You can
It got to the point
move.
where you could go like 120 feet
You
in a
could hit
turn,
somebody like
which
18
is
times.
ridiculous.
Didn't you by the
120 feet is a ridiculous distance. Let's just say that the usual moving distance is, I think, 30 feet in 5e. So he could go 4 times that distance. He could almost outrun a dragon. That's how fast, how far he could move in a single turn.
by the end of that campaign? Didn't your guy not use hand-to-hand combat? He actually had a staff. But he had an ironwood staff.
No, originally I was using an ironwood staff, and then towards the end I ended up getting these. Well, they were homebrew, but they were gauntlets that allowed me to use hand-to-hand combat with a plus something bonus to them.
Ah, right. Before we move on, real quick, what do you guys think about multi-classing?
Honestly, multi-classing can be fun, but only once you've gotten to a high enough level. Like, a great example is that one multi-class character that I got to play, which the NPC essentially that I got to use during combat, which was mostly barbarian, but also had a lot of fighter in his multi-class, and then a little bit of ranger. Once you're high enough level and you can utilize some of the higher level skills, it could actually be pretty fun. But if you're doing a lower campaign where you're like starting at level 10 or lower, it could be, maybe you can get away with only 2 different classes, but once you get lower than level 10, it starts becoming really challenging to justify doing it. I personally believe. Then again, I'm not an expert on this, so I've only multi-classed once, and maybe there's people out there who can get more out of it than I can, but me tiny brain, me want to hit things hard. All right, so I think what I'm gonna do is I want you guys to go explore this yourselves if you guys are interested. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share the link with you folks. I highly recommend you go check them out. And let me grab that Spotify link again. So you guys can listen to them on the move. And I think I'm going to call it here. And what I'm going to do is I'll be right back. I'll be back in about 15 minutes. We're going to play some Donkey Kong Country. Because I said I was Donkey Kong Country 2. That's what I said I was going to do. I just wanted to explore this a little bit. Get my brothers some exposure here. So again, if you guys want to check out two awesome dudes, highly recommend you go check out the Spotify. Highly recommend you go check out the podcast both on the YouTube channel and on Spotify. Both awesome places. Highly recommend it. The link to the podcast and the YouTube channel and the website down in the description below. And I will see you guys all in just a little bit. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Love all your faces. Stay safe. Stay awesome. And as always, until next time, rock on.